Did you know that one of the most iconic synth-pop songs of all time was initially rejected by its record label, while another was recorded by a band who didn't even own their own instruments? That's the beautiful chaos of 1980s synth-pop. Join me on a journey through the decade that redefined music as we count down the 10 most influential electronic tracks that transformed music forever. These revolutionary sounds created the foundation for today's artists to produce music without traditional instruments. The ripples of these innovations continue to shape our current musical landscape, influencing everything from bedroom producers to stadium headliners. Before we move forward, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more updates. Soft Cell's electronic revolution. Let's take it back to 1981, when a virtually unknown duo stepped into a London studio with something to prove. Mark Allman and Dave Ball, collectively known as Soft Cell, had scraped together just enough money for a 3-day recording session. They were broke, unsigned, and armed with nothing but borrowed synthesizers and a bold vision for reimagining an obscure Northern soul track. When record executives first heard their electronic take on Gloria Jones's Tainted Love, they weren't impressed. The stark arrangement, like a blank canvas suddenly coming alive with emotion, was unlike anything on radio. The label wanted something conventional, but they stood firm. With only a Roland synthesizer and drum machine, they created something hauntingly sparse, yet powerful. Their vision paid off. The minimalist cover became an international sensation, spending 43 consecutive weeks on the US Billboard Hot 100. Soft Cell had pioneered a DIY blueprint, proving electronic equipment could create chart toppers without traditional production. Depeche Mode's early electronic innocence. That same year that Soft Cell was breaking electronic barriers, 4 fresh-faced teenagers from Basildon were crafting a sound so different from what they'd eventually become famous for that you might not even recognize it. Depeche Mode's Just Can't Get Enough bounces with an innocent exuberance that feels worlds away from their later brooding industrial soundscapes. The track, penned by original member Vince Clarke, showcased a pop sensibility that Rolling Stone would later dismissively call tuneful pap. This cheerful synth confection proved that electronic instruments could create genuinely joyful music. I just can't get enough, and I just can't get enough. You're like an angel and you give me your love. Clarke's bright, crisp production techniques and catchy hooks resonated with fans, helping electronic pop find mainstream acceptance. Shortly after writing this bubbly hit, Clarke departed the band, leaving a creative void that forced the remaining members to evolve. He went on to form Yazoo and later Erasure, while Depeche Mode transformed into the darker experimental outfit most fans recognize today. The Human League's unexpected chart domination. Creative voids can lead to unexpected reinvention, as we saw with Depeche Mode, but the Human League's Phil Oakey took this concept to an entirely different level. In 1980, the band was literally falling apart. The original lineup had fractured, leaving Oakey desperately scrambling. In a move comparable to walking a tightrope without a safety net, Oakey headed to a Sheffield nightclub and spotted 2 teenage girls dancing. Joanne Catherall and Susan Ann Sully had zero musical experience, yet Oakey recruited them on the spot to join his struggling electronic outfit. This hastily assembled group rushed to record their album Dare, with Don't You Want Me almost an afterthought. Oakey actually fought against releasing it as a single, convinced it misrepresented their sound. The song's narrative, inspired by a teen magazine story and A Star Is Born, featured male-female vocal exchanges that brought unexpected emotional depth to electronic music. Duran Duran's synth-driven visual revolution. As the Human League was climbing the charts with their electronic storytelling, another band was quietly redefining synth-pop through the power of visuals. While most bands in 1982 were filming in bland studios, Duran Duran boarded planes to Antigua with a revolutionary vision for their single Rio. The crystal blue Caribbean waters became a powerful statement in themselves. The band's yacht-sailing, champagne-sipping imagery created a visual language for synth-pop that transformed it from underground curiosity to aspirational lifestyle. Their exotic cinematography offered viewers an escape into a sun-drenched fantasy world that perfectly complemented their sound. Nick Rhodes' synthesizer work created sonic textures that perfectly matched the video's visual opulence. The band brilliantly blended these electronic elements with traditional rock instrumentation, crafting a hybrid sound that appealed to multiple audiences simultaneously. This approach would later inspire countless artists to view music videos as cinematic experiences rather than mere promotional tools. Yazoo's soulful electronic fusion. While Duran Duran was creating visual masterpieces paired with synthesizers, a musical experiment was taking shape that would challenge everything that we thought we knew about electronic music's emotional capabilities. When Vince Clarke exited the Depeche Mode lineup, he made an unexpected move that shocked the electronic music world, partnering with blues and soul vocalist Alison Moyet to form Yazoo. The pairing created striking musical tension. Clarke's precise mechanical electronic compositions provided the perfect counterpoint to Moyet's raw, emotionally charged vocals in their breakthrough hit Only You. Using minimalist equipment, Clarke crafted a sparse electronic backdrop that elevated Moyet's powerful delivery. This revolutionary approach achieved genuine emotional depth through simplicity, just a few synthesizer parts and minimal percussion. The song's rise to number 2 on the UK charts validated their innovation, foreshadowing decades of genre-blending electronic music that would follow. Decades of genre-blending electronic music that would follow. Tears for Fears' electronic protest anthem. From intimate whispers to primal screams, our countdown takes an unexpected turn. While most synthesizer artists of the mid-'80s were singing about romance or nightclub adventures, Roland Orzabal and Kurt Smith were channeling something more powerful, raw psychological rage. Shout emerged directly from Tears for Fears' exploration of primal therapy, transforming childhood traumas into a revolutionary electronic protest anthem. The song offered listeners a cathartic release valve for their own repressed emotions, inviting them to participate in a collective psychological unburdening through music. What made Shout truly groundbreaking was its production approach. Tears for Fears created an overwhelming fortress of electronic sound, with synthesizer layers delivering the power typically reserved for rock bands. The pounding 808 drum machine, repurposed from dance tracks into a battering ram of emotional intensity, helped the band demolish musical boundaries between electronic and rock, creating a sonic landscape where rage could finally find its voice. a-ha's animated electronic innovation. While electronic sound had found its power, visual innovation was about to reshape the synth-pop landscape entirely. From near failure to global phenomenon, a-ha's journey proves that sometimes disaster breeds the most creative solutions. When Take On Me first appeared in 1984, it crashed spectacularly. The Norwegian trio faced every musician's nightmare as their label prepared to cut them loose after just one single. Desperate times called for innovative measures. Their salvation came through a trailblazing technique that transformed live-action footage into hand-drawn animation, a painstakingly frame-by-frame labor that would soon redefine music videos forever. But how could this visual gamble save their careers? The magic of Take On Me extended beyond its groundbreaking visuals. Magna for Holman's iconic keyboard riff required classical piano training to execute properly. The distinctive Juno 60 synthesizer and Linn drum programming created a sonic landscape as innovative as the visuals that accompanied it. Pet Shop Boys' urban electronic poetry. While technological virtuosity defined many synth-pop acts, the Pet Shop Boys were quietly revolutionizing the genre through intellectual depth. Neil Tennant brought something unexpected to electronic music. His background as a music journalist at Smash Hits magazine had cultivated a writer's eye for social observation that transformed synthesizers into tools for urban poetry. West End Girls was literature set to a beat. The song shadowed T.S. Eliot's modernist poem The Wasteland, exploring class tension and inner-city pressures in London through fragmented evocative imagery. What began as a Bobby Orlando production found its perfect form when Stephen Hague took over, helping the track reach its full commercial potential. The song's construction from samples combined with Tennant's half-spoken vocals created something radical for mainstream pop of the era, reflecting broader societal shifts emerging in the 1980s. This fusion of electronic music with hip-hop elements crafted music that engaged both body and mind.
Sweet dreams are made of these.
Eurythmics' gender-bending electronic statement. If the Pet Shop Boys elevated synth pop intellectually, the Eurythmics tore it apart emotionally. When Annie Lennox and Dave Stewart's previous band collapsed alongside their romantic relationship, they lost their musical identity. They lost nearly everything. Yet from those ashes emerged something revolutionary. Picture this, a tiny makeshift studio above a picture framing shop, borrowed equipment, and two musicians channeling their personal devastation into sound. Lennox, trembling with raw vulnerability, later explained, "Look at the state of us. How can it get worse?" The nihilistic lyrics needed balance, so Stewart added, "Hold your head up, moving on," to inject a glimmer of hope. Sweet Dreams became remarkable through the repurposed movement drum computer, creating that unforgettable bass line. This technological innovation married perfectly with Lennox's androgynous visual presentation, her defiant gender-blurring image becoming a cultural beacon that challenged societal expectations just as boldly as their sound shattered musical conventions. New Order's electronic dance revolution. While the Eurythmics transformed technology to express emotional devastation, another band was emerging from actual tragedy to create what would become electronic dance music's defining blueprint. From the ashes of post-punk pioneers Joy Division came New Order, a band desperately seeking reinvention after the heartbreaking loss of singer Ian Curtis. With new member Gillian Gilbert joining Bernard Sumner, Peter Hook, and Stephen Morris, they faced an impossible challenge, honoring their past while forging something entirely new. Their answer was Blue Monday, a 7-minute electronic experiment considered commercial suicide in 1983. Born from grief, the track emerged as Sumner methodically programmed each beat into the Oberheim DMX drum machine, while Hook abandoned his signature sound for a deliberately synthetic processed bass line. The song's iconic floppy disk-inspired packaging proved so expensive that Factory Records lost money on every copy sold, even as it became the best-selling 12-inch single in history. And what's truly remarkable is that the legacy of synth pop continues to reverberate through today's musical landscape. Modern artists regularly cite these pioneering bands as direct inspirations for their own electronic explorations. The technology that once required significant investment has evolved dramatically, with synthesizers and production tools becoming increasingly accessible for aspiring musicians everywhere. This democratization of music creation represents a revolution that forever changed who could make professional-sounding tracks. The electronic seeds sown by innovative artists of the 1980s have blossomed into today's musical garden, transforming the landscape of music production in ways we're still experiencing today.